They want you taking drugs every day for the rest of your life. They don't want you connecting to the universe. They don't want you to manifest goals, dreams, and desires. They want you to be a dumb, stupid slave. And many of you are complying very well.
This is the Kevin Trudeau Show.
I am exposing the corruption in government and in major multinational corporations. We're telling you the things that they don't want you to know that will make your life better.
Oh boy. By the way, truths are in the movies. The movie guys are, if you've ever been to Hollywood, and some of my Hollywood friends now ain't gonna be friends anymore. In Hollywood, we all know that people have some pretty big egos. You know, they're, right? God, they like, look, we know about all the stories with the casting couch where the producer or the director, you know, is just sleeping with every young starlet and promising her the moon, that there's drugs, that there's orgies, that there's, you know, whacked out sex things, that there's pedophilia, that there's all types of deviant sexual desires in us. And there's massive amount of egos and all the plastic surgery because everyone's afraid of getting old and all this stuff. So the bottom line is the movie makers and all the producers are easily influenced by the powers that be, and it has been used since the beginning of the movie industry. They have been used as a propaganda tool to get information out and to slowly desensitize people to certain truths or secrets. One of which was put out back in the 60s. Now I'm talking about why your pineal gland is calcified and not operating. That means you're not connecting to source and your ability to manifest is dramatically down. Why is it calcified? Well, let's talk about the pineal gland. There's another part of the pineal gland, by the way, it's the teeth. The teeth are actually got a chemical composition similar to crystal. Crystal, as you know, holds information and vibrates. I mean, this is not foo-foo, made-up, wacko stuff. This is science. You put a quartz in a watch. Oh, it's run by a quartz crystal. Wait a minute. You mean a quartz crystal is like electric? Well, it's got some magical properties science really doesn't even know, but they know that it can power a watch with a quartz crystal. They also know it can hold data and information like a computer. And they know it vibrates. There's all these properties in quartz. It's like, I don't get it. Science doesn't even understand the power of crystals. Your teeth have that same broadcasting power, which is why many people sometimes with a certain tone, their teeth vibrates. It's like, why are my teeth vibrating here? Because a certain pitch connected with the teeth. Some of you know what I'm talking about. There's a chemical that is put on teeth to make them harder and reduce cavities. What is that chemical, everyone? Class? Yes, Johnny? Fluoride. Fluoride. Very good, Johnny. Congratulations. Mary, you got it too. Good, Mary. Are kids called Mary and Johnny anymore? I don't think so. Those names aren't even in school. Right?
Johnny a little bit.
Johnny a little bit, okay. No Marys. No Janes. It's a different world. It's okay. Fluoride. Fluoride is a toxic poison. And they put it on your teeth. And they put it in your drinking water under the guise that it's going to reduce cavities. Fluoride is a byproduct of superphosphate fertilizers. When they make these chemical fertilizers, it's a byproduct. It is so toxic, it is in the same category as nuclear waste. Which means if you have a drum, you can't just bury it in the ground. It has to be destroyed or stored in the same manner as if it was nuclear waste because it's so poison. And who invented it, by the way? The Nazis. And the Nazis knew that fluoride made people docile because it calcified the teeth, stopping them from being transmitters into the universe, and it calcified the pineal gland. This is the #1 calcification ingredient, fluoride. And the Nazis put it in the drinking water of their enemies. They put it in the drinking water in Poland before they invaded to make them as docile as possible. They put it in the drinking water in the ghettos where the Jews and the gypsies were, so they didn't resist. It made them docile. Think about it. You have thousands, tens of thousands of people. There's no fence. They're in a ghetto. And there's a couple dozen German guards. The people could take over in a minute. The inmates could take over the asylum, right? This is no problem. But they're all walking around like, we can't go after the Germans. No, we must stay and do what they say. It made them zombies, walking zombies. The Nazis put the fluoride in the water. We've been talking about this. I talked about it in my book, Natural Cures They Don't Want You to Know About, for decades, and other people have as well. Fluoride also calcifies the thyroid, which means you start producing thyroid in the body. It reduces your drive, motivation, and energy, makes you fat, makes you docile. So not only does it calcify the pineal gland, it calcifies the thyroid. Years ago, there was a president in the White House named Bush. And Bush and his wife and his dog all had thyroid problems. It was in the news for 2 or 3 days as the lead story. The President of the United States has been diagnosed with a thyroid condition. The other members of the first family have also been tested, and they too inexplicably have a thyroid condition. Even the family dog, to the shock of Washington. Medical researchers are now investigating the water supply at the White House. We'll report more on this story tomorrow when we get the results of that water test. You never heard another word ever again about that because the water in the White House was highly fluorinated. The powers that be are not the president. They're getting the suckers in the White House to drink highly, massively fluorinated water, more than anything else, to make them docile, calcify the pineal gland, calcify the thyroid, and that way they're easily susceptible to the influence of other people who have their pineal gland active. And by the way, I'm not the first person who said this. This was in the movies. In the 1960s, there was a great movie called Dr. Strangelove by Stanley Kubrick. In it, one of the best actors, I believe, in American history, Peter Sellers, played 3 different characters in this movie. Peter Sellers played 3 different characters. There was George C. Scott in this movie, and it was an interesting movie. It's not one of the best movies of all time, but it was black and white. But there was a scene in this movie that I think you're going to find interesting. Take a look at this.
Yes, Dad?
Have you ever seen a commie drink a glass of water?
Well, yeah, I can't say I have, Jack.
Vodka. That's what they drink, isn't it? Never water.
Well, I believe that's what they drink, Jack, yes.
On no account will a commie ever drink water, and not without good reason.
Oh, yes. I can't quite see what you're getting at, Jack.
Water. That's what I'm getting at, water. Mandrake, Water is the source of all life. 7/10 of this Earth's surface is water. Why, do you realize that 70% of you is water?
Oh, Lord.
And as human beings, you and I need fresh, pure water to replenish our precious bodily fluids.
Yes.
Are you beginning to understand?
Yes.
Mandrake. Mandrake, have you never wondered why I drink only distilled water or rainwater and only pure grain alcohol?
Well, it did occur to me, Jack, yes.
Have you ever heard of a thing called fluoridation? Fluoridation of water?
Yes, I have heard of that, Jack, yes. Yes.
Well, do you know what it is?
No, I don't know what it is now.
Do you realize that fluoridation is the most monstrously conceived and dangerous communist plot we have ever had to face?
You gotta love it. It's the fluoride, man. It's the fluoride. So all of you, Grand Rapids, Michigan was the first city in America where they put fluoride in the water. And so I said, well, what was the reason they put the fluoride in the water? Come on, man. There was a couple of reasons. Number one, if you were making superphosphate chemical poison fertilizer and you had this fluoride that you had to dispose of in the same manner as nuclear waste, that's going to cost you a fortune. But if you get the government to buy it from you and actually pay you for the poison, now you got a home run business. They buy it and they throw it in the water supply. Now you don't have to worry about disposing it. Perfect for those companies. Why is the government putting it in? It's making you docile. That's why. Under the guise, oh, it's good for your teeth. No, it's not. It's unhardening the teeth. It's calcifying the teeth, the thyroid, and the pineal gland, making you incapable of manifesting those dreams and desires and connecting with the universe. And it makes you docile, makes you fat. That's the gig. And people say, Kevin, this is, man, it's like a conspiracy theory. You know, I don't know if I can believe this. You know, Kevin, I think you're being a little naive thinking that these people would do something like that. You know, there was a great scene in a movie called The Godfather. And The Godfather movie, one of the best movies of all time, had this scene between Michael Corleone, who was going to be the new Godfather, the head of the Corleone crime family, and Kay, which was his fiancée, but he hadn't seen them in a long time, and they got together after several years, and they were having this conversation. Now, take a look at this clip.
I'm working for my father now, Kay. He's been sick. Very sick.
But you're not like him, Michael. I thought you weren't going to become a man like your father. That's what you told me.
My father's no different than any other powerful man. Any man who's responsible for other people. Like a senator or a president.
Do you know how naive you sound?
Why?
Senators and presidents don't have men killed.
Oh. Who's being naive, Kay?
Yeah. Michael, you're being naive. Presidents and senators don't have people killed. Who's being naive, Kay? Presidents and senators do have people killed. Look at the Clinton body count, all the people that were associated with him. All around the world, presidents, senators, and corporate executives have people killed. This is how it works. And isn't it amazing that when there's a whistleblower that comes out, they always commit suicide. Yeah, you know what? Always surprised me that suicide victims dismember themselves and stuff themselves in hefty trash bags and shove themselves in the trunk of a car. Oh, it's a suicide victim. Suicide victim. The guy's in the trunk of the car in a hefty trash bag. How is that a suicide? Well, authorities say it's a suicide. And then the guy gets put in jail, right? He put in jail. Oh, he killed himself. We're going to look at the video cameras, but as luck would have it, the videotape machine was on the fritz for those 3 hours. Wait a minute. The guy's in a federal prison. He kills himself. You have a camera on him 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The camera has been there for 10 years. It works 100% of the time. That's correct. But as luck would have it, it stopped working. It malfunctioned for 2 hours. And it was, man, talk about coincidence. During the time that it malfunctioned, the videotape, that's when he killed himself, so you don't know what happened. Really? Look, the powers that be want you dumb. They want you docile. They want you taking drugs every day for the rest of your life. They don't want you connecting to the universe. They don't want you to manifest goals, dreams, and desires. They want you to be a dumb, stupid slave. And many of you are complying very well. Congratulations. You are the successful, dumb, stupid slave. Hi, I'm Kevin Trudeau. This is everything they don't want you to know about to improve the quality of your life. Broadcasting every Monday and Wednesday, 2 days a week now. Monday and Wednesday at 1 o'clock Chicago time. Make sure you tune in and subscribe to the channel and share these shows with everyone you know.